Welcome back to Crystal Beyond Labels. Y'all, I am troubled even giving this story right now because this story is rather irritating. It's frustrating. Sometimes it triggers the righteous indignation in me because I think I've said this before and I'll say it again. The idea of the generational curse of unforgiveness is so real right now. It is so real. And it's sad that it is basically a cancer in all of our communities, but especially within the Black community, it is a cancer within this. This past weekend, they had the Cincinnati Jazz Festival, and it's supposed to be a beautiful, fun event. But of course, as all things, there's libations that take place. People get a little bit extra, and then things happen. Well, on this night, there was a brawl that made zero sense. And I'm going to show you all angles of this brawl. And then I'm going to tell you how I feel about it because I'm just tired of seeing this. I'm tired of seeing this. And I'm tired of people going through these type of things. But let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Let me share this video with y'all.
What country are we living in? Joining me now is Ken Kober, president of Cincinnati's Fraternal Order of Police. And I appreciate you being here with us. And it's not to insult your city, but this is intolerable. It doesn't belong on any American street. It honestly doesn't belong in any civilized society. And I saw a quote by you, Ken, where you said, what you see in this video and the behavior around there is people that fear no repercussions. Tell me why they would fear no repercussions.
Well, Cincinnati and Hamilton counties are really at a crossroads. What kind of city and county do we want to be? Because right now you have about half the judges that support law and order, and then you have half of them that just don't, that are being, the cashless bail, the soft on crime. And this is a result of that. I mean, these people fear no consequences. And until that changes, unfortunately, we're going to see more things like this.
There's so many different, honestly, beyond the law and order element of this, Ken, and there is a law and order element of this. I know that 911, they may have received one call during this when you can see there's dozens, if not hundreds of people around the incident. But there's also so many cultural implications going on here. I don't know. I don't know how you were raised. I can tell you this. Any situation, A, where a man hits a woman, or B, where 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 guys are ganging up on one, nobody involved in that is tough. Nobody involved in that is a man. And it says something rotten about any culture that produces individuals who think somehow this is tough.
Yeah, these people clearly have no morals. They have no morals. They don't care about themselves. They don't care about others. And this is certainly a problem that we're seeing time and time again. And it's something that is just disgusting. We saw the worst that Cincinnati has to offer that morning.
And look, it's our job to tell the truth, and the truth requires you to state the obvious. There is a racial component to what we're watching on our screen right now. The 2 victims on the screen appear to be white. Most of the assailants appear to be black. And if we played the game of reversing this, and we have in some instances, there would be a national outcry and rage about the races involved in this incident. But here we have it reversed, and it asks some serious questions about us as a society.
Sure. Yeah, these investigators are certainly looking into that as being a component of why this occurred. And that's yet to be determined, I believe. But I mean, you look at it at face value and certainly can understand why you would draw that conclusion.
Well, it's at this point, I don't know what conclusions to be drawn, but to ask some very serious questions and be irresponsible not to ask those questions out of fear of invoking race, when this is what we're watching happening on the streets of Cincinnati, and I don't care where you live, I was just talking to somebody that works here, Ken. I don't know that this would happen on the streets of Texas. It might not, but there would be someone step in. There's a lot of people armed in the state of Texas or many other states across this country that don't have to wait for the police. I don't know what's going on in Ohio.
No, you're right. And if there would have been some better people that were part of that, it probably would have ended differently. But it just shows you that whole mob mentality. That's exactly what we saw. And I wish there would have been one person in the crowd that decided that they were going to step in and actually, be an adult, be a man, and not allow something like this to happen.
You said it right. It's a mob mentality. It takes courage and bravery to step up against a mob. It takes 0 to be part of a mob. And unfortunately, we're run short on that courage and bravery right now.
Every time I watch this video, I get angry. That righteous indignation raises up in me because it's so irritating. It is so sickening. It is disgusting. Because what was the point of that? What was the point of beating that man to a pulp? And I know some people are going to say, well, the white man hit the black man first. Let me show you, since somebody's probably going to say that. Let me show you what it actually looked like. And you tell me if that matched what they did to him. I'm gonna show it to y'all because, of course, I know somebody's gonna come in my comments and be like, "See, you're dancing for the white man." No, I only speak about what is right and what is good and what is true. So let's look at how it went down.
Goldie, no, Goldie, don't do that. Goldie, there we go, Goldie. This is what they wanted, though.
I'm trying to find the words. This is ghetto. This is ratchet. That's what this is. It's irritating. And I hate that they're even associated with people that look like me. It really is irritating. This man had beef with another man. Why did 20, 30 of them have to jump in? Why were they attacking random white people as they were walking by? Why were they attacking random white people that was trying to stop this situation? Why was this girl with this ridiculous wig jumping in? She wasn't even supposed to be in the situation. Why was she in it? No brought up C, zero brought up C. It is sickening. And it's sickening because you're just seeing the evil in people. Yes, evil. That is just evil rising up out of them. And don't tell me about, oh, you support the white people. This has nothing to do with black and white. This is just pure evil. That's what this is. Because if somebody lost their life, then I bet you half of them would be there crying because they know that they'd be locked up. And then they'll say, well, no, this is just racist. They're after me. No, what is this? What was the point of that? What kind of behavior is that? Why would you do that? But then, of course, they don't stop with the two men. No, of course not. Because we're going to beat up the random white woman that's there too. Okay, that's what we're going to do next. A woman who definitely cannot even defend herself. So a man is going to ball up his fist and hit her. He is a beta. I hope you see this video because you are a beta. You're a soy boy. That's what you are. That's what you are. Because a real man does not do things like that. Just so you know. Because I think you thought you were a man, but you're not.
Damn. Oh! Whoa! 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 Oh, wake her up! Oh, damn. Help her up! Whoa! Yeah.
What I appreciate is the black people that are out there that are actually trying to stop it, because the people that make me even more sick are the people that spend more time videotaping, recording, pulling out their camera to record the situation so that they can get a viral video instead of being in the situation and saying, let me call the police because this is a bad situation. This is a bad situation. This shouldn't be happening. But because people's hearts have waxed cold, like the Lord warned us, because that's literally what you're seeing. People's hearts have waxed cold. that you sit there and you see a man ball up his fist, knock the woman out cold to the point she can't even get back up. She can't even get on her 2 feet. She's knocked out cold in the ground and no one's helping. People are busy laughing. What is wrong with humanity? What is wrong with you people? Like, what is wrong with y'all? It is just sickening how you carry yourself. It is sickening how you put yourself out there. And then when you have people that are, dare I say, maybe part of the liberal DOJ type of movement or the liberal justice system, then you get behavior like this. Let's listen to the lady who should be making sure this foolishness doesn't happen anymore. The Cincinnati police chief, Teresa Thici. Let's hear what she's upset about, people. Let's hear.
Hey guys, how are you? First of all, I can do some mics. All right. So thanks for coming out, folks. I want to take a minute to give you guys an overview of the incident from the weekend. First of all, I think it's very important that everybody understands we had well over 150,000 people in the downtown area this weekend. We had a major Big Three basketball tournament at the arena. We had a Reds game with large crowds, and we had the Cincinnati Music Festival. Wonderful, wonderful events for this city and all the people who attended it. Unfortunately, we had one incident late Friday night into Saturday morning that is getting all the attention and undoing the good stuff that happened this weekend. That's the incident that you're well aware of that occurred at Fourth and Elm.
One incident. And she's mad that people are giving it attention. But why are people giving it attention? Let's listen. Let's keep listening to her.
I, like many, woke up Saturday morning to the video. The incident occurred. We got our first call at 3:06 a.m. First officers were on the scene at 3:12 a.m. Based on the body cam footage that I've watched, that response time is completely acceptable because the downtown area still had traffic congestion from all of the events. Upon arrival, the fight was over with. The fight was over with when the officers arrived. And the majority of the participants were gone. The officers did exactly what they are trained to do. They gathered information from the victims that were still at the scene to complete an offense report. I will tell you, at this time, we have victims and suspects identified, and we have charged 5 people in this offense. I'm not going to release that information to you. I will say, if individuals were down there and participated in this event, it would be in their best interest to come turn themselves in at one of our police districts. We have 5 we have charged and anticipate more. Let me be clear. Anyone who put their hands on another individual during this incident in an attempt to cause harm will face consequences. I don't care which side of the incident or the fight they were on. If they place their hands on somebody in an attempt to cause harm, that is unacceptable. This is still an open investigation, and all potential charges are being investigated for everyone involved. All investigative tools and techniques are on the table, including, were some of these individuals overserved at some local establishments? It is clear to us that alcohol played a significant part in this incident. I want to thank every citizen who has come forward and provided us with information. Some of those tips have led to the charges being signed. However, for us to have 100 or so people down there involved in and or watching this event, recording with their cell phones, and for us to get only one phone call of this incident is unacceptable in this city. One person did the right thing and called.
My point exactly. Only one person. One person made a call Everybody else can care less because they wanted to record. But let's hear what else she's saying. I'm gonna hear what else she has to say because I'm finicky about this lady. But let's hear what else she had to say.
Called 911. Another point I want to make about this, you have heard me for over a year now talk about holding our juveniles in this city accountable for their behavior and trying to hold their parents accountable for knowing how their kids are behaving. What should we expect from our youth if this is the kind of adult behavior that is setting an example for them? That is unacceptable by the adults in our community. Unacceptable. Another topic I want to cover real quick. Social media and journalism and the role it plays in this incident. And yes, guys, that's you. That is you. Social media, the post that we've seen, does not depict the entire incident. That is one version of what occurred. At times, social media and mainstream media and their commentaries are a misrepresentation of the circumstances surrounding any given event. What that does, that causes us some difficulties in thoroughly investigating the activity and enforcing the law. Because what happens, that social media post and your coverage of it distorts the content of what actually happened. And it makes our job more difficult. My absolute gratitude for the investigators who came in on Saturday as soon as this video was posted and rolled their sleeves up and got to work. They have done an amazing amount of work in a short period of time. I want to look to the men and women. If you can see me or hear me now, I want to say thank you to the men and women of CPD. You made this weekend, outside of this one incident, an amazing success for this city. It is because of your heart.
Okay, now I'm gonna give y'all my opinion on this lady. Because this lady is hilarious to me. And she's hilarious to me because, number one, she just said social media. If it wasn't for social media, according to Vivek, the woman who was knocked out, her name was Holly. Here is Vivek Ramaswamy's statement. I spoke to Holly earlier today. The woman tragically assaulted in Cincinnati this weekend. She's a single mother, single working mom who went to a friend's birthday party. It's unconscionable that there were no police present in that area of Cincinnati on Friday night or even an ambulance to take her to the hospital. Because clearly, the way she was hit, she got a concussion. Hardworking Americans shouldn't have to worry for their safety when they have a good time in our cities. Holly said, not a single local or state official had yet reached out as of earlier this afternoon, other than police detectives. So let's see. When was this posted? This was on July 28th. So the event took place on Saturday, like the police chief just said. And Holly hadn't heard from somebody by this afternoon, July 28th. We on Monday. Okay? We're on Monday. Just want y'all to be aware of that. So she hadn't heard from nobody yet. And they're sitting here, the police chief, having issue with social media for putting it out. If social media had not put it out, guess what? No one would have talked about it. If social media hadn't put it out, the news wouldn't have covered it. It was the outrage of people on social media seeing these people get beat. Now, like I said, the one white man that put his hand on that black man, again, that could have been a tussle between the two of them. But that's not how it turned out. A whole gang, a group of them, of black people, started beating on them, beating on him and others, just people in the vicinity they started beating on. Now, I'm not going to say all the black people were involved because there were black people that were trying to pull the people out of the situation and trying to protect them because they were seeing what was happening. There were women that were running while the man was down bleeding, running up and kicking him in his head. This is just sickening. And you people, yes, I'm going to call you, you people are sickening because you're ghetto and you're ratchet. And you bring down the worth of everyone in your community. Yes, you do. And I'm going to say it. You bring down the worth and the value of every person in the community because of things like this. And it's sickening that y'all thought that action made sense. As I said, people's hearts are waxing cold because for you to ball up your fist like that and hit a woman to the point that she's knocked out and she couldn't even get up off the ground. They literally had to drag her up off the ground. She still wasn't conscious properly. And you think that was okay. And people were sitting there, oh, and laughing. And what the police chief said is right. What kind of disgusting adults are y'all? Y'all are disgusting adults. Because what kind of example are you showing to anyone? Why should the new generation act any differently than what they're seeing portrayed? That you say, well, the man put his hand on me. Well, see, that's the beautiful thing about when you walk with Christ. Let me tell you the beautiful thing about when you walk with Christ. Let me explain how walking with Christ works for you. Because the man put his hand on you, then we jump to Matthew 5, verse 38 through 40, and it says, you have heard the law that says the punishment must match them injury, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you in the right cheek, offer the other cheek also. If you're sued in court and your shirt is taken from you, give your coat too. Meaning, all of y'all wasn't supposed to jump in and jump those people. Okay? That's what that means. In fact, common sense, which most of you lack, would have said, that man, drunk as he was, put his hands on you. I'm calling the cops. That is assault. That's common sense. But somehow or the other, y'all lack that. That's why it's good to be in the Word. You know that. But everybody, because of the generational curse of unforgiveness, all y'all, and I'm saying all y'all that was involved, have that generational curse of unforgiveness because y'all are the same ones that be under the comments of Carmelo Anthony cheering on what he did, because for y'all it was a lick back against white people. Yeah, that makes sense to y'all. What else does the Word say? Because the Word is so necessary. The Word will teach you stuff. Somehow or the other, y'all just skip over the Word. Y'all listen to the rappers, but y'all don't listen to the Holy Book. And some of y'all want to sit and laugh at the Holy Book, but half of y'all wouldn't be in trouble if y'all listen to the Holy Book. You have heard the law that says, love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say, love your enemies. Pray for those who persecute you. In that way, you will be acting as true children of your Father in heaven, for he gives his sunlight to both the evil and the good, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust alike. If you love only those who love you, what reward is there for that? Even corrupt tax collectors do that much. If you are kind only to your friends, how are you different from anyone else? Even pagans do that. But you are to be perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. So why did I read that? Because if I hear any person of color that claims to be a Christian even fix your mouth to defend any of this action, you just told us your fruits. And guess what? The Lord said I can judge righteously. So I'm judging. Because if you support that behavior and you say you're a follower of Christ, no, you're sitting on that fence. You know the fence that Satan owns. That's what you're doing. Because nothing about this was right. That is not the way you're supposed to act. As I said, that man, the first man that put his hand on the black guy, and it looked like he tapped him in the face. I don't even think he slapped him. I think from the angle, it looked like he just tapped him in the face. Cool. You get upset. Nah, sir, that's assault. I'm calling 911 because you put your hands on me. I'm calling the cops, but no, you got to look like you macho. But none of y'all were. As I said, each and every one of you are gutter, soy boy, beta. As my girl April Chapman says, orangutan people. That's what y'all are. That's what y'all are. So I hope you enjoy your 15 minutes of fame on the internet, and you enjoy your time behind bars. And I hope you get it. You deserve it. And as you sit there, maybe while you sit there, you'll have time to reflect, and maybe Jesus will give you a real experience with him behind bars, and you will be saved before the day of judgment. That's what I pray for all of you. Y'all, tell y'all that one was a hard one. But I had to get this across because, again, this is sickening. To everyone that's out there, stop doing stuff like that. If somebody does something that offends you, somebody puts their hands on you, that is what we have police officers for. You report it. Let them face charges. And I heard that that police chief, I hope she's talking about the only, if she wants to put charges on the first white man that put his hand on that black guy, so be it. He shouldn't, he's too grown. He shouldn't have put his hands on him, on that man. And that's why I appreciate that she's going to check on the bars, because clearly y'all gave them way too much alcohol, because that was alcoholic behavior to the highest power. That's why you shouldn't let the spirits, those spirits, lead you. You need the Holy Spirit. But I digress. He definitely should, if they're going to charge, yeah, he could be charged. But all them other people, them white people that was trying to defend themselves, you ain't going to beat me to a pulp for me to be unalive and I'm defending myself and you're going to charge me. Absolutely not. And I wish that woman thinks she could, because you can't. Because they ain't going to beat me to a pulp, stomping my head in the ground, and I'm going to just sit there. I'm just going to say. So everyone that was defending themselves, then let them. But again, I digress. That is all for me. Please let me know what you feel in the comments. Please go ahead and like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you feel. Aren't they just ghetto and ratchet? Yeah, they are. You saw that girl? She wanted to fight. Her whole wig came off. A ratchet tank. Anyway, love you all. Have a beautiful and blessed day. And I'll see you next time here on Crystal Beyond Labels. Later.